The future that you want is real and it exists right here and now. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can create a future memory, right, in your brain and access it now. Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Juliet Cleary. I'm a manifestation coach. And if you like this content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you would like to work together, that information's in the description box below. The past and the future don't really exist because everything exists right here and now. So whether you're remembering something that has happened or you're imagining something that hasn't happened yet, you're doing it now. So the now is the only thing that exists. And so you can bring the future into now. You could also bring the past into now. And the universe doesn't know the difference between, if you're focused on the past, right? Something that happened yesterday or 10 years ago, the universe thinks it's happening now. Your brain and your body actually believe it's happening now, and it's literally like you're living in it. When you bring up a thought from the past, it's like you're actually living it. That's how the universe is responding, as if it's happening now. So you might want to rethink how often you think about the past events that don't serve you or that bothered you. And the same thing applies to the future. Something that you're wanting, you're imagining, something that you're dreaming of in your future, that exists. And the universe doesn't know the difference between if you're imagining it, hasn't actually happened yet, or you're actually living it right here and now. It doesn't know the difference. It just responds to that vibration. And so it really matters where you place your attention now. Every time you think about that future that you're wanting, or you feel the emotions that match it, you create a future memory. Because again, the past and the future don't work differently. They function the same way. So just like you have a past memory, in how the universe sees it and how the universe responds to it, and also how your brain sees it and how your brain responds to it. When you're focused on something you want, right, or the emotions that match it, it's just like you're remembering a past memory. It is exactly the same way in the brain and to the universe, right? And so it's literally like you have created a future memory. The more attention that you give to this vision of your life, or again, the emotions that match it, the more this memory becomes familiar, right? And I know you would have experienced that in some things. You imagine it enough that it actually starts to feel familiar to you, right? Like almost like something you've lived, which is so funny because that future is a potential in the quantum field right now. It does exist. And there is a version of you living it. And the more attention you place on it, the more you're in resonance with that, so you feel it. Same thing with the past. The more attention you place on something that happened to you 5 years ago, right? Just say a memory, a specific memory, the more you're in resonance with that, the more real and vivid it feels. And you're putting out a certain vibration about that, whether it's a joyful one or a negative one, and the universe is responding to it, right? Same thing with like, if something you desire has manifested in the past and maybe you lost it now, you don't have it now. But if you're remembering it and how it felt and how that was, right? And you're feeling it and experiencing it now in your mind, in your emotions, then the universe doesn't know the difference between that being the past or that being right here and now, what you're living, and will respond, right? So it's never like we have to drop these things of like, oh yeah, the past and the future, because it's just now. Whatever I place my attention on right now is my reality right now. So anytime, again, that you're focused on the future, the thing that you want, the vision for your life, the emotions that match it, the feelings that match it, you are it. You are accessing it. You are living it. right here and now, it is very real. Even though there's a little time buffer between how, quickly you can see it in the 3D, you are emitting the vibration of it. So unless you go back to focusing on it isn't there, focusing on the past, right? Unless you're doing that, it'll show up really, really, really quickly. So again, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And so when we're focused, even like, oh, something happened to me earlier this day and I was really bothered by it. Focusing on it right now is doing you only disservice. It is not helping you in any way. In fact, your brain and body believe it's happening again. The universe is responding to you like it's happening again. And so think about anytime you're thinking about negative things that have happened, whether it's in the same day or it's 10 or 20 years ago, every time you think about them, it's like you're living it now. The universe is responding to you as if you're in the situation now, and your brain and your body believe it's in the situation now. So that means, when you're focused on a stressful thing that happened maybe a week ago, your body will go into stress. It'll go into survival. And it starts to kind of break down. You might start receiving some, unwanted symptoms in your body and don't realize where you've placed your attention is so, so, so important. Again, the same thing happens with the future. If you're just playfully imagining something, not to try and manifest it or make it happen because it already exists, right? It's already done. You have the desire means it exists. If you have the desire, it means that exists for you. So you're not trying to manifest it. You're not trying to make it happen. You just want to allow it to reveal itself. And you do that by being on the frequency that it has already been revealed, right? That it already exists on. And so how you do that is through the feeling, how you feel. And anytime you're thinking of the future, you're thinking of that thing you want and playing with it, or feeling the emotions that match it, maybe on different subjects, your brain's creating a future memory of that thing. So if you're someone who's like, it's really hard for me to imagine, what I desire, it's hard for me to I'll be able to think about it and feel it some days and it feels really good and familiar. And then I'll go like a few weeks or months and it just feels like I can't even think about it. It doesn't feel familiar at all, doesn't feel real, feels far away. Then I would suggest focusing a little more on that vision or the emotions that match it, like how it feels to be there, to have that a little more often. Like just do it for a couple of minutes a day to just start to get familiar with that feeling. So that frequency that it lives, with that potential in the field, with that future reality, which exists right here, right now. Because what's happening, the reason why it feels so foreign and far away and like I can't even imagine it, even when I'm feeling pretty good, it's hard to imagine it, is because you've been giving so much attention to what's going on and what has happened. And what's going on right here and now is basically the past. What's already manifested is the past. And so you're giving so much attention to the old reality, to the old story, to what has been, what has happened, how things are, right? That you're so familiar with that. That's the memory, right? That's the thing that you're resonating with. That's the frequency you're on, as opposed to this one over here. And again, you can just start by feeling the emotions. That's it. Just feel how it would feel and practice more of those emotions. And if it's still too difficult, then feel those emotions, pinpoint what emotions they are, and feel them in different areas, different ways, different subjects. Just get familiar with that feeling, that core feeling. Maybe it's freedom, maybe it's joy, maybe it's feeling unlimited, maybe it's feeling liberated. Maybe it's just complete ease, whatever the core feeling is, get familiar with that, because your brain will start to get familiar with it and it can come up more easily. Like you're activating that as opposed to activating what has been, right? Again, acknowledging that everything exists right here and now. What do you want to choose? And then once you start to practice a little more of the core feelings of this future, or if you want to sit there and imagine it playfully, because it feels good, because you want to get more familiar with this beautiful new story that exists right here and now. They're all different realities, all different paths, all different potentials, all different stories, versions of you. Which one do you choose? Like all of that stuff is real. Where are you placing your attention? And more importantly, what emotions are you placing attention on? What emotions are you practicing? It's really who you're being in the moment. It's what's activating all of this stuff around you. So that's what happens. The brain creates a memory that starts to feel so vivid and so familiar because you're giving it a lot more attention, right? You're giving this feeling or this vision more and more attention, that the brain sees it as real. The body sees it as real. The universe sees it as real because it is. Because anything you focus on in the moment is real. You're tapping into it. It all exists. You tap into it, right? As soon as you feel it, as soon as you give it attention, it becomes real. And you do that for just a little while without going back to the old habits as much, then it becomes your reality in the 3D now. And it has the potential to show up in that way, like in the physical world, in any moment. Then it's like you want to take this one step further, is embodying this. Remember the memory of your future. Remember how it feels. Remember who you are, who you really are, right? Not who you have been. You're not limited to that. You can choose from whatever right here and now. Remember that future memory and move from that space, from that energy. So I hope this video has helped you. If it did, let me know by commenting down below and giving this video a thumbs up, sharing it, and subscribing if you haven't already. If you would like to work together, that information's in the description box below for you, as well as links to my other channels. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.